Governor Ron DeSantis is in a three-part proposal wants to crack down on rioters and protect law enforcement from being defunded. Now, the governor says the Combating Violence Disorder and Looting and Law Enforcement Protection Act will be the focal point of the 2020 legislative session. On Your Side's Leah Shields break down the proposed bills.
Governor Ron DeSantis is proposing new legislation cracking down on rioters. If approved and a protester is arrested at a gathering where an official deemed it violent or disorderly, they could face a felony charge. It would become a crime to obstruct traffic during a protest and would protect drivers from liability if they kill or injure protesters if they are, quote, fleeing for their safety. It would strengthen penalties for attacking officers during protests, and it would allow the state to block funding for cities that defund police departments. A local civil rights attorney who sued Jacksonville Sheriff's Office this year on behalf of 4 protesters who were arrested in May says the proposals are vague and unconstitutional.
Our governor would have our founding fathers all convicted felons and doing minimum mandatory sentences based upon that same behavior. And so I think it's a complete disconnect between the principles upon which our nation are founded, the First Amendment.
We have seen our fair share of protests this year right here in downtown Jacksonville, especially outside of the courthouse. And while majority of them have been very peaceful, there have been just a few that have escalated. And Governor DeSantis acknowledges that the riots seen across the country may not have happened here in Florida, but he says he wants to be proactive. In downtown Jacksonville, Leah Shields, First Coast News, on your side.